It is a great pleasure for me to welcome you to the dissemination of foundational studies of the African Center for School Leadership. I'm very glad to acknowledge all of you, distinguished guests who are attending in person and the participants joining us online. As an important ambition of the center is continuous professional development of school leaders and the provision of guidance on how CPD is organized in an effective, scalable, and sustainable way of the African continent. I would like to offer great thanks to VVOB for organizing this event and declare the event officially open.
Thank you for joining us in person and online. My presentation is about the review of empirical research. This review was commissioned by VVOB and it was carried out by Professor Tony Bush, who I believe is attending online. So the review was carried out for the purpose of building the theoretical foundation of the African Center for School Leadership that we are talking about. The center will develop the school leadership policies and guidelines and the effective and scalable professional development program for the school leaders. And this requires engaging with government across the continent to put school leadership on the map.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jocelyn Kirezi, and I'm a research advisor at VVOB. So I'm going to present a Delphi study that actually we conducted with Chantal, Jeff, and Richard as main researcher, but the whole research actually we conducted with you as experts. So it's feedback from you, from the data that we received from you. One of the statements says that school leadership is effective when it leads to increase of achievement of a typical student. And the argument behind is that not only a typical student, but also all the students. So this inclusiveness and equity needs to still be coming up in terms of what is really school leadership in Africa.
Come to talk about very quickly about the aim of our CPD program. The program aims at equipping school leaders with competencies to contribute to school development that result in empowering learning outcome or learners' achievements.
Now, Kenya Education Management Institute is the Management Development Institute, which serves as the capacity building agency of the Ministry of Education in Kenya. KEMI is actually mandated to provide training, conduct research, and also offer consultancy services in the education sector. The objective of establishing KEMI was to strengthen leadership and managerial capacity of various cadres of education personnel.
It appears IEP and KEMI have a lot of things in common, especially in terms of our history and then what we do. IEPA, that is the Institute for Educational Planning and Administration in Ghana, was actually instituted in the year 1975 by a joint agreement between the Government of Ghana and then the UNDP.
I also believe that throughout this discussion, we'll be able to re-examine and contextualize school leadership in Africa with a common purpose of improving learning outcomes.
Entry point is as a scholar who really is searching for and seeking those alternative epistemologies, those alternative ways of knowing and doing, grounded in what I call African indigenous knowledge.
Because Ubuntu, in my view, is actually trying to say, let us sit down and question what has happened before, but let us also try to see what we can do in the present and current circumstances. I think decolonization is an important part of the debate around Ubuntu.
Thank you so much again. You can never have enough time for good stuff. Thank you so much. A round of applause to our panelists.
Can I just say one thing before we go quickly?
So if we can come over here near table number 1 for Jeff to tell us.
CPD to be effective, that it needs to eventually lead to improved student and learners' outcomes and decreased push out. A final point that I kind of took or summarized from the discussions is that it needs to inspire action. I think that kind of speaks for itself. It also came out of the review that it should be a mix of theory and practice, and that it should not remain at a more theoretical level, but that it should lead to, through again improved competences and confidence and motivation, to also better leadership practices. Thank you.
Then I turn to the cost effectiveness of CPD, where there were quite some discussions and different viewpoints. I go through them. So we had the idea of individual contributions, which are important for beneficiaries to really feel engaged with CPD, also to make them cost effective. There was a suggestion of maybe leveling that up towards commissions and teacher unions, of adding a contribution which is automatically linked with CPD opportunities. There was also the idea of having professional allowance for teachers and school leaders. And in the end, it was also really highlighted that there should be financial ownership of countries in systems.
There is also an effective management of the resources for the school. Human resource, part of the human resource management, there is need to lead CPD for teachers, professionalism, financial management, or financial literacy. Part of that, there is fundraising, income generating activities, and physical resources management. There is another idea that was importantly mentioned, that it is important to create space for co-creation of the knowledge of this. When it comes to selecting the content of the CPD, it's good to involve the beneficiaries, the school leaders.
I really want to thank, first of all, everyone for the last 3 days. We have had a 3-day event. It didn't feel like a 3-day event, but today is the final day of the 3-day event, in which really we sought to tell the story and demonstrate the journey of strengthening effective school leadership in Rwanda. And really, you actually also got to see the partnership that it took with the Ministry of Education, present, Rwanda Basic Education Board, University of Rwanda College of Education. Really, we were together. It started off with a school visit, and although some of you had just landed in Kigali, I believe that you saw a school leader in practice, you saw a school leader in context, and you also saw a school leader actualizing their CPD course in their time and place. Thank you very much. I was Marianne Kigundu on behalf of VVOB globally and in Rwanda. Murakoze.